Alright. It's time to settle who's the best phone. Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Fine, my people need me again. Time to settle who's the best phone in town. Use WASA or something to start. ZQSD. I guess it's applicable to. What about arrow keys? Arrow keys doesn't work either. Press spacebar to attack. Oh, okay, that's how you die. Wait, what happens if you just like... Is there a way to just die? There's no health bar or anything. What does the snake do? How am I controlling it? At all? I don't feel like I'm in control of anything. Wait, what happens if I get hit? Nothing. There is no consequences to getting hit. What happens if I get hit? Nothing. Nothing. It has screen shakes for shooting, but not for explosions? I guess that makes sense, but that's a really confusing choice. Oh, we're back to 60 frames per second. You can't tell from Twitch because we have a sucky computer that can't render all that in 60 frames. I mean, not stream in 60 frames. Okay. My work here is done. I hope the next generation will bring some challenge. Yeah, I mean, I ran into every single one of them and it looks like I'm invincible. Yeah, I'm not impressed. Thanks for the Arial font. 79,000. Oh, well, it looks like it saved the last location. No, I refuse to press the space bar. Oh, fine. Let's actually try playing this as normal. See, this I don't find particularly fun. The fact that all you have to do is just stay in the center and hold a space bar. Wait, this would imply infinite. Seeing that I can't die here, this would imply infinite score if I just don't hit the boss, right? The sound effects are really repetitive. Generally speaking, you want to make sure that you put in variety in your sound effects, or else you can start to notice a pattern, and that's not always a good thing. Yeah, you just don't kill the boss and you get infinite score. It doesn't sound like I can die at any rate. I also kind of like maybe it's just me, but there's something kind of adorable about taking a dumb phone and then giving it, like, just shoehorning a shoot 'em up mechanic with it. It's like shoot 'em up mechanics now has like everything. That's really everything in the kitchen sink. So. Kane Dragoon says, I think you're the only one who would think of not killing the boss. Of course. Well, I mean, I have good reasons to kill the boss if I was not invincible. Seeing that I am, like, then at that point I'm like, what's the point of that? I exceeded my score by almost twofold at this rate. It sounds to me like, honestly, the fact that your character doesn't lose any life is more or less either an accident or what I'm suspecting is a lack of time. And, like, I understand that. because everything else here seems relatively polished, and that's what they sort of aimed for. So I can understand why, from their point of view, having a life system was secondary. But I feel like, as you can see right now, it kind of does a bit of harm. Or maybe it's a Nokia phone and it's invincible. Well, I hit him. Yeah, I more than doubled my score. But yeah, even if you were going for score attack, the risk for aiming for that in a regular game, like a shoot 'em up such as this, would be that you'll be gradually losing life, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of risk and effort to be able to pull that off. Saying that, this game practically removed that risk entirely. Like, I don't feel like getting the highest score possible is all that big of a challenge. Because otherwise, it is a completely permissible and okay boss pattern, in my opinion. The fact that the snake does mostly defensive mood is not something I find useful. Well, less useful so much as not really adding much to the complexity of the game, because it still feels very random. So I started with what was approximately 80,000. So 3 times that would require me to go for 240,000. Alright, yep, I'm at threefold. Fine, let's kill the boss. There's not a whole lot of feedback with hitting the boss, which makes it somewhat less satisfying. And like every explosion sounds the same. Probably the best score in the world already. 262,400. Let's do that again. Not just kidding. An indestructible phone indeed. Well, let's go with opinion here. Not every game needs a life system, but a shoot 'em up does not feel like one of them. The only game that immediately reminds me of that didn't really require that much of a life system at all was, and it still did, I think, if memory serves correct, was Every Extend, and with that Every Extend Extra as well. They're both two different games, by the way. Every Extend was the original prototype, and it's completely free, where the objective of the game was to explode your ship. So taking that into account, you know, the game was, for the lack of better words, unenthusiastic for me. Because of that, it was kind of easy for me to see the flaws of the game. Like, generally speaking, if a game is really good, then you can overlook the flaws, and so it's not something that I want to be too critical about, because it's the design as well as the enemy patterns and so forth, I felt like were fine. The character is super duper large, which made it for, if you know, the game actually had a life system in it, that would have made it for a huge disadvantage. But still, yeah. Overall, I thought it was okay. Yeah, I thought it was okay. You know, shooting things is always fun. I do feel like successfully shooting something was not nearly as fun per se. And like the screen shake on every shot, not every shot per se, but like every once in a while, felt a little overwhelming to me. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that. 22,600 or something to that effect. Honestly, with an indestructible phone, the last boss becomes an exploit. Don't kill the boss and let the game spawn infinite enemies. VixD, if you at the bottom at the bottom of our stream, there's a description where it indicates a forum link that you can submit your game to. If you can submit it there, as well as, and here's the important part, post your row number in the chat, that'll be great. When I say row number, there's also a link to the spreadsheet, which the form that you submit your game is linked to. And if you can find it there, we'll search for it. You will search for your name and username and pick up the game. So yes, we are taking requests, but it is a little roundabout. I see the Cat PJ's game, Battleforge is in there. Good night, Venice 2 Cry. I thought the game was pretty neat. The lack of life obviously removes a lot of excitement, a lot of drama from the game, as losing stops being a priority. I thought the game was pretty cool. I felt like screen shakes would have been better served on hits on the bosses and a subtle one for enemies. More variety with sound effects would have been nice, as the shooting and exploding sound becomes very repetitive after a while.